rise, a surge in terrorism that's threatening the unity of Europe.
Was Islam angeht, prinzipiell gehört er nicht nach Deutschland oder Europa.
We've just sat through the final presidential debate. The only word that I really understood throughout the whole thing was the word Nazi.
And then an inside look at the future of the EU with one of its most influential leaders.
Where do you see the future of politics going, and what are your biggest fears?
Oggi la gente d'Europa, se fosse chiamata a un referendum, deciderebbe l'uscita dall'Europa.
President Trump's immigration policy, including a proposed border wall and what's been called a Muslim ban, sent shockwaves around the world.
We are going to stop the Syrian refugees from entering the United States.
But these issues are not uniquely American. The European Union is grappling with a similar breed of populist politics, with far-right candidates making huge gains across Europe.
Fear of foreigners or doubts about economic management have led to a rise in extremist populist parties.
Great Britain has already decided to leave the EU altogether, and the fight over immigration could determine Europe's political course for years to come.
Hungary, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government has put this European Union border country on lockdown. A 181-mile border fence was built in 2015 to stop the flow of refugees from entering the country from Serbia or Croatia. National Police Chief Karoli Papp oversees Hungary's border control operations.
How effective is the police operation down there?
A magyar-szerb határőrizetének a hatékonysága nagyon magas hatásfokú. Járőröket, kutyás járőröket, lovas, gépkocsizó járőröket alkalmazunk, illetve helikopteres ellenőrzést. Az ideiglenes biztonsági határzel mellett alkalmazunk hőkamerarendszereket.
Hungary's crime rate was actually on the decline prior to the fence being built. But rural farmers in border towns were facing practical issues as the flow of refugees increased.
How have things changed here in the past few years?
Szaporodott ez az embertömeg, addig még 5-10-15-20 fő jött, addig nem féltek. Vízzel segítették őket, kenyérrel segítettek a gyerekekre, de utána, amikor már éjszakánként megjelent az 50, 70 vagy 150 fős csoport is, több idősebb személy fölhívott, eljött hozzám személyesen, elmondta, hogy képzeld el, Antti, mikor 50-en ott álltak velem szembe, sötétbe, és akkor bekopogtak, és akkor nyitottam ajtót ki, hogy mit éreztem. Azt tapasztaltam meg, hogy a móra halom, és meg kellett állnom ezzel az autóval, amivel jöttünk ide mostan, és körbevett 15 ember, és nyitották az ajtót kifele, akkor segítsek, vagy meneküljek. Mert a szabad határt nagyon szeretem, az átjárás nagyon jó volna, valamilyen szinten meg kell tudni védeni magunkat, és Európát is.
In order to justify closing what used to be an open border, Prime Minister Orban amplifies the farmers' fear, citing terror threats as the primary reason.
Minden egyes migráns közbiztonsági és terrorkockázatot jelent.
As Europe sees more and more attacks by ISIS-affiliated terrorists, populists put the blame on the increased influx of refugees from the Middle East. As a result, thousands of refugees are now being stopped at the border.
What's it like to police this area?
legfontosabb az, hogy megpróbálják megakadályozni, hogy a migránsok átjussanak a biztonsági határzáron, és hogyha mégis átjutottak, ugye az a feladat, hogy minél hamarabb felkutassák őket, feltartóztassák, és visszakísérjék őket. Ugye több ilyen kapu van biztonsági határzáron, ezeken a kapukon személyeknek az átkísérése, a személyeket tájékoztatjuk a jogaikról, tehát le van írva több nyelven, hogy mi történik, tehát hogy most...
After the fence was built, refugee camps started forming on the Serbian side of the border, where migrants wait for their opportunity to sneak into Hungary.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Not good.
How old are you?
Me?
Your age?
11.
11. All right. Where are you from?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
These children, they're not terrorists, are they?
Hát természetesen.
That must make you feel something when you see them.
Hát természetesen az ember érzi azt, hogy emberi sorsokról van szó, de én azt gondolom, hogy nekünk rendőröknek akkor is a jogszabályokban meghatározottak szerint kell ellátni a feladatunkat.
These decisions come directly from the Hungarian government. While many other EU countries followed Germany's lead in welcoming the refugees, Hungary surged to the right, sealing its borders. We sat down with Orban's spokesman to find out why.
Why did Hungary see it as its responsibility to be the bastions of law and order for the European Union when Angela Merkel had said that refugees...
Use the proper terms, because up until they have a legal status, everybody should be called a migrant. As a matter of fact, an illegal migrant. The European Union is a community of states in which there are rules. And that was our major problem, actually, with the German position. How can you request, without our consent, that you don't follow the rules?
Do you think that refugees have a right to come to Europe?
Nowhere in international law it is suggested that you have the right of freedom without authorization. You're not allowed to be naive on that. Quite a number of the perpetrators of the Paris attacks and the bombing at the Brussels airport were coming through Hungary, using basically the illegal flow of migrants to the European Union. That's a serious breach of security. There are many who, under the camouflage of a religion, extremists would like to wipe out a civilization. As Mr. Schuman put it, one of the founding fathers of the European Union, Europe will be or should be Christian, or will not be. If you want to get rid of the core values, then you're getting rid of the original sense of that community.
Across the EU, far-right candidates are using the immigration debate to push a nationalist agenda that's threatening the very existence of the EU itself.
Could be today that it is the start of the end of the European Union as we know it today, and that will be very good news.
The past few years have shown the biggest increase in votes for nationalist and populist parties in Europe since World War II. Following Trump's victory in the US, the world's eyes turned to the next election with a far-right candidate, Austria, where independent Alexander Van der Bellen was fending off Norbert Hofer of Austria's Freedom Party. Suddenly, the left-leaning country was on the brink of electing a far-right president for the first time in decades.
Wir müssen diese Invasion von Muslimen, die uns derzeitig heimsucht, stoppen, liebe Freunde.
Norbert Hofer, a gun-loving anti-Islam populist representing the Freedom Party, founded by ex-Nazis.
Among the founding members of the Freedom Party was high-ranking SS General Anton Rheinpfahler, who founded the party to strengthen nationalist interests in post-World War II Austria. We travelled to Austria as one of Europe's most polarising elections reached its climax.
We're in Vienna, where one of the most divisive elections in Austria's recent history is about to come to an end. Whether the people here decide to go left or right will also decide what might happen to the future of the European Union.
How
much is Islamophobia playing in this election?
One of the main reasons why people vote for Hofer is because they're afraid of Muslim people coming. Hofer ist Teil einer rechtsextremen deutschnationalen Burschenschaft. Das heißt, dass sie ein Weltbild vertreten, das einfach klar fremdenfeindlich ist, sexistisch ist, auch antisemitisch ist. Und wenn es den AfD betrifft in Deutschland oder Le Pen in Frankreich oder jetzt Trump in den USA, das ist alles so ein Teil der sehr gefährlichen Entwicklung im Moment.
Lena took me to a campaign appearance by Hofer's opponent, Alexander Van der Bellen.
Alexander Van der Bellen!
Wollen wir die alten Grenzen wieder errichten, einsam und allein in die Zukunft gehen, oder wollen wir, dass dieses Österreich ein wichtiges Mitglied in diesem gemeinsamen Europa bleibt? Lassen wir nicht zu, dass das Land in eine andere Richtung geht.
Liebe Freunde der FPÖ, liebe Gäste, Norbert Hofer.
Across town, Hofer was also focused on immigration, but took a hardline approach to the crisis.
Die Europäische Union, meine Damen und Herren, steckt in einer sehr, sehr tiefen Krise. Wir wissen heute, dass ein Flüchtling in Österreich Kosten von 277.000 € über die Jahre verursacht. Was kann man mit diesem Geld vernünftigerweise machen? Sichere Zonen in Nordafrika schaffen. Und dort sollen die Asylverfahren durchgeführt werden. Dort. Und wir dürfen uns nicht schämen, wenn wir sagen, wir sind stolz, Österreicher zu sein.
With the candidates neck and neck, both sides were out in full force before the final presidential debate.
It's just before the final presidential debate, and supporters of the two candidates are here in a face-off. What this says about what's going to happen inside, we'll see.
Mr. Hofer, how will it feel to become Europe's first far-right leader since the war?
First of all, I'm not a leader, and second, I'm not far-right.
So why do people describe you as that?
They don't know me. Not yet.
As is tradition in Austria's presidential elections, the press and both candidates' teams gathered to watch the final debate backstage while eating wieners and drinking beer. But what started as a strange Austrian barbecue gave way to something that was bizarre even by US standards.
Bundesrat bezeichnet dich als Nazi. Die Nächsten machen irgendein Lied, wo sie dich beschimpfen. Da kann Van der Bellen persönlich nichts dafür. Oder jetzt diese Fuck-Hofer-Demo am Samstag. Ja.
Es gibt auch eine Fuck-VDB-Gruppe zum Beispiel, da sind die sich auch nicht distanziert, glaube ich. Hab ich. Ursula Stenzel, ihre Wahlkampfhelferin, meinen Vater inzwischen mehrmals als Nazi bezeichnet hat. Er ist es nicht, aber ich habe Ihnen ein Bild mitgebracht. Und das tut man einfach nicht, Menschen, die seit 50 Jahren tot sind, so zu diffamieren.
Das sind Ihre Unterstützer, die mich als Nazi bezeichnen. Glauben Sie, dass uns das weiterbringt in dieser letzten Wahlkampfdiskussion? Bitte, da sind Sie wirklich unfair. Da sind Sie, Sie waren nie ein Grüner. Ja, ich weiß schon. Sie waren gar nichts.
We've just sat through the final presidential debate before the elections. The only word that I really understood throughout the whole thing was the word Nazi. We're now sitting in the spin room afterwards, where the two candidates are here. Hofer behind me is sitting around with his team, smoking cigarettes, drinking glasses of wine. I've never seen anything really like this. Some people have described you as an anti-establishment figure. Is that accurate?
Nein, ich bin ein völlig normaler Mensch. Ja. Ich fahre mit meinem Motorroller durch die Gegend, ich mähe meinen Rasen. Aber eines ist schon, für mich ist es wichtig, und das ist meine Aufgabe, den Kommunismus nicht zuzulassen. Ja. Wir wissen, Van der Bellen hat kommunistisch gewählt. Er wird von kommunistischen Parteien unterstützt. Und da sehe ich eine Grenze.
What happens in the end of this campaign?
The people, they will vote.
Einen schönen Nachmittag. Wir begrüßen Sie wieder einmal zu einer Sondersendung zur Bundespräsidentin.
Bundesland des Kandidaten Norbert Hofer. Schauen wir uns das gleich an. Hier ist interessanterweise, dass dieses Bundesland von Van der Bellen gedreht wird. 50% für Norbert Hofer und 50%. In jedem Fall ist es Wien. Bei einem Auszählungsgrad von knapp 60% und einer Schwankungsbreite von 1,2%. Alexander Van der Bellen ist der neue Bundespräsident.
People are crying here. It's clear that it means so much to people. Does this feel like a different Austria now?
No, because I know that there's still like nearly 50% who voted for Hofer, so no. Actually, you still have to consider actually there's 50% super racist people in Austria.
While Hofer lost in Austria, the fierce political divide has spread across Europe. In France, a formerly fringe candidate, Marine Le Pen, came in second place on an anti-immigration platform that could have seen France leave the EU.
Il faut rétablir des frontières et donc arrêter la libre circulation.
But the most important election will be in Germany, the unofficial leader of the EU, which took in more refugees than any other European country. As a result, the once peripheral far-right populist AfD party emerged in direct opposition to Chancellor Angela Merkel.
Frau Merkel, damit haben Sie Ihren Regierungsauftrag klar verfehlt. Treten Sie zurück, Sie schaffen das.
Since World War II, being ultra-right-wing has been taboo in Germany. Yet the AfD is gaining power by exploiting the sharp increase in conflicts between refugees and locals. In 2016, the German Ministry of Interior reported more than 3,500 attacks on refugees and shelters throughout the country. The rural town of Bautzen is capturing headlines with particularly violent clashes.
Onlookers celebrated as a fire ripped through a former hotel that was being converted into a shelter for refugees.
Eine relativ ruhige Stadt. Das hat sich aber in den letzten 1-2 Jahren massivst verändert durch den Zuwachs von Asylsuchenden.
Sebastian Berg is well connected with the local right-wing community. We joined him and his local AfD representative on a tour of the embattled town.
Ein Hotel nach dem anderen wurde umgewandelt in ein Asylbewerberheim. Gewisse Leute von den Flüchtlingen, welche Stress programmiert vorgehen. Ich weiß, dass ich mich verteidigen kann, aber auf der anderen Seite weiß man nie. Ja, das kann der letzte Atemzug gewesen sein.
While the right wing claims that locals need to protect themselves from refugees, the town's largest refugee centre had to build its own fence to protect the refugees from angry locals.
What's the problem with a place like this?
Die Leute, die bleiben nicht hier. Die kommen ja in die Stadt, gehen einkaufen, benehmen sich auch daneben. Gewisse Leute nicht an Gesetze, was Islam angeht. Prinzipiell gehört ja nicht nach Deutschland oder Europa.
Der Islam ist eine Religion, sie gehört in den Nahen Osten und sie kommt aus dem Nahen Osten, christlich und jüdisch geprägt. Und der Islam gehört nicht hierher und er soll auch nicht Deutschland dominieren und er soll auch nicht Europa dominieren.
We went to meet some of the refugees that the locals were living in fear of. While the majority of migrants we saw were families, much of the fear is of single young men. Faraz has mastered the language, but is still facing backlash as he tries to integrate into society.
Es gibt so ein paar Leute, die wollen gar keinen Kontakt mit Flüchtlingen, 100% dagegen, und die zeigen das auch mit Demonstrationen, ein paar Schimpfworte. Die Deutschen wollen, dass die Flüchtlinge integrieren in die Gesellschaft hier in Deutschland. Und wie gesagt, wenn man sieht oder fühlt, dass man nicht willkommen ist, dann hat man dann diese Integration-Sache ist ganz, ganz schwer.
Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Ben.
This young family fled the resulting chaos of the US war in Iraq.
Why are you here?
يعني تهددنا وزوجي رد يعني يطلبونا يعني وصارنا هنا هسه احنا صارنا هنا صار لنا سنة و4 أشهر بس بالأوتيل ولحد الآن ما عندنا يعني لا بيت يعني أنا لا عندي لقة ولا زوجي عنده لقة بس وبنتي ما هالقد يعني تعرف هواي يعني راجعت وأريد أن أتعلم اللغة وقدمت على مدارس ماكو إنسان هم يقدر يعني يريد يبذح عن نفسه يعيش هاي العيشة يعني أوتيل وقوة عيشة حبيبتي.
With over 1 million refugees settled in Germany since 2015 and anti-immigrant sentiment on the rise, the AfD and their leader, Frauke Petry, are using the issue in their bid to unseat Chancellor Angela Merkel.
Do you think Angela Merkel's improved Germany since her time in power?
No, I don't think she has, because she opened the border for illegal migration to more than 1 million people in 2015. Many of them cannot read, have not finished school. Many of them will be completely dependent for the rest of their lives on social benefits. And if government tells us, as Merkel did in autumn 2015, that we do not have the control about our borders, we do not have the control about who lives in Germany, that is basically the complete failing of a state.
Why was immigration a central policy for Trump and for Brexit and for the AfD here in Germany?
Immigration was not a central topic when we started.
But it's become one for you.
It's become more important because situation changed dramatically.
Why do you think there's an appetite for anti-establishment politics in Germany now?
We have many statistics seen over the last couple of years of people not trusting politicians anymore. What did politics do over the last couple of decades to make people feel excluded? I think many citizens are fed up with politicians not talking to them, but talking about them and not taking them seriously. And that is something that many people in Europe do not like. So, yes, I think it gains momentum, and I hope it will gain even more.
Weiss has been following the rise of the far right in Europe for many years. We watched and reported as nationalism exploded in response to the migrant crisis currently facing Europe.
Everything that has to do with the public sector, illegal immigrants are using it for free.
You
want to keep the Greek race? We want to give the Greek race clear.
Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi was in many ways modern Europe's original populist. He gained massive support from Italian media outlets, many of which he owned, and cultivated a large political base by clamping down on immigration and embracing isolationism.
Lampedusa sarà abitata soltanto dai lampedusani.
I met him at his home in Italy to talk about what the future holds for European politics.
Regardez, j'ai toutes les Pâques, c'est comme ça. Tout le parc, partout.
Et combien d'ans vous habitez ici?
40 ans.
40 ans.
J'ai une maison à l'île de Lampedusa, où viennent les migrants de l'Afrique.
Oui, il y a beaucoup là-bas.
Il y en a beaucoup, mais j'ai mis des situations pour les recueillir sans qu'ils vont autour dans le pays. J'avais toute la population de Lampedusa et je dis, moi, je vous assure que vous ne verrez plus des émigrés entre vous.
Former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is one of the most outspoken critics of allowing immigrants from Syria and other war-torn countries into Europe. The former leader of Italy was the longest-sitting prime minister in modern Italian history. And though his political career was marred with controversy, fraud and scandal,
Sono il maggiore perseguitato dalla magistratura di tutte le epoche, di tutta la storia degli uomini in tutto il mondo.
he was also one of the original far-right candidates, using fear of immigration to great success, which set the mold for other populist candidates in Europe.
So you look at what happened in Austria recently, a far-right party came second but nearly came first, and now you have the rise of the far-right in Germany. Should Europe be worried about this sort of rise of the far right in Austria and Germany?
Guardi, intanto queste destre sono messe tutte insieme nel populismo e sono le sinistre che trattano con distanza, con snobismo questi fenomeni. Perché questi fenomeni hanno delle ragioni che corrispondono alle paure, alla rabbia, alle esigenze di una vasta porzione di cittadini.
Now, what we've seen this season is that this anger is often rooted in the immigration issue. And it's not just Hungary, Austria, and Germany, but also in France, where opposition has surged against the migrant population. And here in Berlusconi's home country of Italy, hundreds of thousands of refugees cross the Mediterranean to begin their long journey north into the EU.
You have millions of people coming from Syria, from North Africa, from Afghanistan. Italy is on the front lines. How much is it affecting Italian politics? But even larger, how much is this affecting politics in Europe?
La guerra in Siria ha fatto sì che 5 milioni di cittadini siriani scappassero dalla Siria. Nessun paese al mondo può sopportare una immigrazione che può essere così elevata nei numeri. C'è una sola soluzione a questo problema. L'Europa faccia una specie, chiamiamo, voi lo conoscete bene, di piano Marshall. Soltanto con un'azione di questo tipo l'Europa possa fermare una immigrazione di massa che porterebbe nell'Europa stessa uno sconvolgimento totale.
Now, what he means when he references the Marshall Plan is approximately the $130 billion aid project which rebuilt war-devastated regions of Western Europe in the aftermath of World War II. Now, the idea is that the only way to stop immigration is to actually stop the issues that are causing it at their source. But while he calls for a unified plan, other European politicians are running campaigns for a more divided Europe. I interviewed Marine Le Pen in 2012 as she first began to declare her anti-immigration, isolationist populist platform.
Nous luttons contre la mondialisation qui détruit notre nation. Nous luttons contre une immigration massive. Et nous luttons aussi pour notre identité, que la France reste la France, parce que je crois que c'est pour ça qu'on est là.
Le Pen has since made a huge leap, as this formerly French candidate went on to come in second place in the French elections, and her party is not backing down.
Par ce résultat historique et massif, les Français ont désigné l'Alliance patriote et républicaine comme la première force d'opposition au projet du nouveau président.
Europe, America, maybe even the world, has a history of going left and then going right and then going left and then going right. Right now, we seem to be taking a step to the right. Why do you think that is?
Quella che lei indica come una tendenza verso la destra, secondo me è il frutto di politiche sbagliate da parte dei vari governi. Politiche che hanno tentato di rendere lo Stato più presente nella vita dei cittadini e nell'economia. Questo ha ridotto la possibilità di sviluppo, ha impedito la creazione di più posti di lavoro, ha portato molti cittadini ad essere preoccupati del futuro. Soltanto un cambiamento dell'Europa possa far scendere l'importanza di questi partiti di estrema destra, che possono diventare invece un pericolo se aumentano sino ad arrivare al potere.
Where do you see the future of politics going in the EU? And what do you worry most about? What are your biggest fears?
Oggi la gente d'Europa, se fosse chiamata a un referendum, deciderebbe l'uscita dall'Europa. Quindi l'Europa deve cambiare molto, altrimenti va verso la disgregazione.